Hey there, it's Buck from Before You Show It. Today I want to talk about acoustic treatment for live venues for music or for restaurants even. It works for restaurants. Small to medium size clubs and restaurants where music playback and loudspeakers are going to be used. So I'm going to base it on a case study or two. One case study I actually have pictures for, as you can see in the background here. The first case study is the 360 Club in Toronto, downtown. It's not there anymore. It was there for a few years in the 90s up to the early 2000s, and then it went away. It became a clothing store. But basically, it was an old Legion Hall. They had a restaurant in the front, and they had a large concert venue in the back. By large, I mean like for a club size. It was about 100 feet long. It had a stage which was about maybe, maybe 10, 12 feet deep. And, well, you could see it in the pictures anyways. Pool tables, you know. It also served as like a banquet area sometimes too. But we had a large sound system in there. Along one of the walls was like just glass mirror, which sounded horrible for reflections in the place, in the mids and upper mids. And then on the other side, there was just heavy drywall. So there were a lot of reflections going on there, and everybody kept coming into the club saying, you need more speakers, you need more PA in this. And I was like thinking, okay, they just bought a new PA, cost them $5,000, so, you know, on the cheap side, but it was a decent PA. What they need instead is to spend another $1,000 only on acoustic treatment. So $500 for materials approximately, and $500 for the artist to paint them so they would look good. So in this case, if you look at this picture here, way at the back, you'll see the acoustic panels on the wall here. We had a floor plan for them and a design. They were 4 feet wide by 6 feet tall, and they had to look like artwork, and they had to be able to be lifted off by one person. So we did what I believe was a G-mounting, which we just had 2 hooks and hooked them up to the ceiling with a space in between the panel and the wall to increase the absorption. When you open up the space in the back, you get more surface area, of course. And if you take a look at some of the pictures I have here, here's a good picture. In this picture, it shows a band performing on stage, and just to the left of them, there's some acoustic panels you can see are painted like, you know, cartoon cityscapes. That was the specification I gave the artist. Just make it look like a cartoon cityscape. Okay, so the materials we used were just 1x2 spruce. It was spruce, the light wood anyway, it can't be too heavy. 1x2 spruce, some Roxol rigid fiberboard insulation, so it's like compact already with high absorption coefficients to absorb a lot of the mids and upper mids and highs. Also, we used muslin and not canvas. So we actually used a muslin material. When you hold the muslin up to a light, you can see through it. That means it's very porous and it's going to be very absorbent as well. So I asked the artist, when you paint like a watercolor wash so you can actually see through the muslin so it still maintains its acoustic properties. And then the Roxol underneath was what was actually going to be doing the most absorption. The floor plan right here, as you can see, we had some of them on the side walls of the stage and out in front of the mirrors. And we had about 10 panels in total covering the 2 sides of the wall. So what this did was actually act as a critical listening area, really, for the audience. That's what my goal was. Turn a club that's 25 feet wide, 12.5 feet high, and 100 feet long, turn it into like a very large critical listening area. The stage was treated as well with low pile carpeting. We had moving blankets on the side of the stage to increase the absorption, and theater drapery at the back. So the stage was extremely dead sounding. The difference in sound quality of that room was night and day. You could hear every instrument. You didn't have too many reflections going on the stage. The cymbals didn't bleed into the vocal mics as much because we also put some acoustic foam blocks. Actually, it wasn't acoustic foam blocks. It was open-celled foam found in the garbage from a computer store that discarded some packing material. So very soft, you know, fluffy acoustic foam to protect computer equipment, which was perfect because they were shaped like bricks with sort of cutouts in the middle, increasing surface area, therefore increasing absorption. cover that with some muslin, and the stage actually looked pretty good too. I'm not really sure if you could see it, but right above the band there, that's where the muslin is covering over the bricks. And again, the difference when people walked in after the acoustic treatment was done, they walked in and they went, whoa, it sounds so different in here. I can hear everything. And I was thinking, okay, victory. Well, I knew I planned it out really well with ray tracing diagrams and some mathematical formulas, and basically just said, okay, so this is how we're going to do it. We're going to kill the stage reflections, and then we're going to put acoustic panels on the side of the wall. When the bands play, and we had a lot of loud bands and sometimes punk bands and sometimes Grateful Dead cover band, a Grateful Dead cover band would play, and they sounded great. Lots of reggae playing there. But it sounded clean because you heard the sound coming out of the loudspeakers, and whatever stage sound was there was brought down because of all the acoustic absorption on the stage. And when you put a loud band on there, the front of house mix was so much easier. So this also works in rehearsals places. We did the Toronto School of Rock, my friend Dave and I, and we designed the treatment for that place with the similar panels, different sizes, and strategic placement of them. And the guy said, you know, like after all these tests and whatever, his personal experience was, it was a night and day difference. And yeah, because you're cleaning up all that extra energy in the room, and you actually can hear the instruments from their sources more than you can from like all over the reflections, or bouncing all over the room or whatever. I did this to one more club, not with acoustic panels, but with acoustic drapery. They had the drapery in the basement, and I said, why don't you just take the drapes and kind of space them apart throughout the room? It'll look good, and the bands will sound cleaner, because they had an issue in that room with you know, lots of reflections. I mixed in the room a few times myself, and it was very live sounding. It was okay. It was pretty good most times, but it could have been better. And so they put the drapery up, and it sounded much better. Anyways, that was the acoustic treatment plan. It worked very well. These panels aren't that difficult to build. I'll actually share the diagrams we did. The cost per panel was something like $20-something Canadian. I think we priced it out to $16 American for each panel, which is 4 feet by 6 feet, so 4 feet wide by 6 feet high. Because we bought the acoustic isolation material in bulk, and we bought the wood at like a Home Depot, so we got it really, really cheap. And there wasn't really, and the pipe strapping was a few bucks, you know, and the screws, you know, like it wasn't that expensive to build these things. So at the time, I think it was $22 Canadian or $16 American per panel. You just add a few bucks onto that nowadays, but they can be built really easily, really cheaply. It just takes time to put them together, but they're actually pretty easy. So anyways, it really does make a difference. I hope you seriously consider doing some acoustic treatment before you go out and just buy a new set of speakers, because chances are a lot of the speakers you may already have sound good, except you're getting too many reflections. This also works in restaurants where the background chatter is too loud and people are talking and people are, you know, at their tables going, what? I can't hear you, because there's too much going on in the room. So by strategically placing panels in the room, you can minimize the annoyance of background chatter for a restaurant. So it works for, basically it works everywhere. I just happen to focus on clubs, small concert venues, and restaurants. Okay, thank you for watching. Have a great day.